everyone, thanks for finding my video. This video is going to be about the JLPT, the Japanese Language Proficiency Test, also known as the Nihongo no Ryo Shiken. I took the N5 about 2 weeks ago, and I just wanted to talk about my experience. So to break down the test is, there are 5 levels. It goes from N5 all the way up to N1. N5 is the easiest. N1, of course, is going to be the hardest. I hear that you need at least N2 to be able to work in Japan. But I've been told recently that some companies are okay with you just having the N3. The test will be it's broken up into 3 categories, and first category is vocabulary and kanji, the second category was grammar, and the last category is listening comprehensions. But test day itself, so my friend and I, the test was on a Sunday, so we took the train all the way, for me up and for her down to Düsseldorf. We chose Düsseldorf. Okay, so in Germany, there are 2 places where you can take the test. Either in, maybe there's more, but okay, so we could have chose between Stuttgart and Düsseldorf. And I picked Düsseldorf because, for one, in May, they always have the Japan Talk there. You know, it's like this big anime convention and everything. So I've been there before, so I already know what Düsseldorf, kind of looks like. I kind of know my way around a little bit, just a little bit. And in Düsseldorf, they also have something called Little Tokyo. It's like just this community with like nothing but, like Japanese people who come there mostly for work. But they only stay there for like a few years and then they go back to Japan. So they brought a lot of their culture there. Like, they also have schools there. Like, they've got this whole street full of nothing but like their grocery stores and restaurants and bookshops. So we figured, that would be a good opportunity for us to like use some of our Japanese that we had learned. So yeah, and plus, go shopping there because I love curry and I need curry. Yeah, so we chose Düsseldorf. So we went there on a Saturday. We had dropped off all of our luggage already at the hotel, and then we just went out like shopping the whole day and like purchasing books. And then, we studied and studied and studied. Then we went out for dinner, a Japanese restaurant. We got to use our Japanese skills. That was nice too. And then after that, went back to the hotel, had a drink, and then went back upstairs and studied even more, and then went to sleep. And then test day itself. So our test didn't start until 1:15 in the afternoon, which was nice because it gave us time to check out of our hotel, to eat breakfast in peace, and then, review a little bit some more. So at 12:15, we all had to like gather in the big foyer. The thing that I didn't really, I wouldn't say I didn't like, but it kind of made me feel a little bit uneasy and a little bit unsure, was the fact that there was no signs put up anywhere. So yeah, I wasn't even sure. I was like, okay, you come in there, and then you're already standing in the foyer. And there weren't very many people there because we were there like an hour early because, I don't know the school. I've never been in there. So I wanted to see, okay, where do we have to go? Blah, blah, blah. There's signs up, whatever. Like I said, there were no signs up. The only thing that was there were like a few people sitting around, but most of them had like their phones in their hands and earphones in, and if you like kind of glance at their screens, they weren't really like studying or anything. They were just like in WhatsApp or playing games or something. So I was kind of like, okay. But then I kind of figured, okay, it's Sunday, the school's closed, the library and there's closed, so why else would you be at that school on a Sunday? Plus they had like this little bookshop set up. There's a bookstore in Düsseldorf called Book Nippon. Well, Book Nippon. And they had set up some of their books like that's where I purchased these. They had that shop set up where you could look at grammar books and stuff like that. So I figured, okay, you know, we must be at the right area. So we waited a little bit. We were playing like our learning apps that we had on our phone. And then more and more people started coming, you know, so that's when I started feeling, okay, sure, okay, yeah, we're in the right spot. But I still wish that they would have put like, you know, signs up so I knew exactly, okay, like, I don't know, where's testing room N5, where's testing room N4, you know, stuff like that. At 12:15 is when basically the ceremony started. We were told, you know, phones off and everything, so I couldn't, I mean, I probably could have filmed because I seen a bunch of people still had their phones on, like taking pictures and everything, but I'm a wuss. So like if I see rules, I'm like, okay, I have to absolutely follow those rules. So I had shut my phone off so I couldn't tape the ceremony or take pictures or anything. But basically, the lady, she was just telling us, you know, thank you for coming, blah, 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 how many people are taking the test this year, introduce the staff and everything, and then this, I spaced out on the name. So this Japanese man, he stepped forward and he made his speech, and he was speaking in like Japanese, and he had such a deep voice, and I was so fascinated. I was like, wow. And I was trying to see how much of his speech I could understand. I understand like maybe 3%. And I was like so focused on him that he gave the word back to the lady, and then the lady, she was like, okay, so examination numbers, blah, 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 through blah, 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 you go with this and this. And then I'm like, what? Like, I totally spaced out. And then all I heard was like, N5 is over here. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'm this way. So I'm following this lady, and like my friend and I were like, are we right? Are we right? So like everybody in that group was kind of asking like, are we with the right lady? Blah, blah, blah. And then somebody was like, oh, this is N5 group. Like, you know, we're all taking N5, so we're right. And so I'm going to call her chaperone. So our chaperone lady, she was talking with this other chaperone dude. And so like we're going upstairs, and then we're trying to get their attention because we're trying to ask them, excuse me, which numbers, like which examination numbers are supposed to, you know, like be following you guys. But they were like so busy talking to each other. I think they were flirting and trying to hook up. Because we kept asking them about the numbers, and then the lady, she was like, I'm sorry, I don't have your numbers. I don't know which numbers are supposed to be with me. You guys were supposed to listen, blah, blah, blah. And then she started exchanging like phone numbers with the other chaperone guy, so we were kind of like, and then what also kind of disturbed me a little bit was like I seen other chaperones like passing by, like for N4 and 2 and stuff like that, and for whatever reason they all had their clipboards and they had their examination numbers, like number blah 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 through blah blah blah, so they knew which people they had. So I kind of wish that our chaperones would have had that, you know. So we all, because the lady, she was like, no, the N5 is getting broken up into, I think she said 2 groups. So you have to make sure and see that you are in the right group. And I think we only had like 20, well, we only had like 20 more minutes left before the exam was going to start. So we kind of had time, but when we ran back downstairs, the lady, she was like still, you know, like distributing people and everything like that. So we had to wait a little bit, so we were getting a little panicky if we were going to make it on time. So she finally finishes, and then we're all like running up front, and we're like, excuse me, which examination people go where? And I still didn't think to take my book out and to see which number I am. So I finally take my thing out and I look, and I'm like, okay, I'm number 15. No, 14? No, I think 15. I don't remember. So she was like, no, yeah, you are this way. Like, I see like everybody going, like the whole group that came with me, I see like them all leaving, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to follow them because my number is like where their number is. And then what's also cool to see was that my friend who had came with me to take the test, her number was right after mine, so we actually kind of got to sit next to each other, which is kind of cool, kind of nice. Yeah, so we finally like get to our room upstairs. They have like this desk out in the front, like right in front of the classroom, and that's where you're supposed to give up your test voucher and your ID. And they check that, and then you're allowed to go into the room. And then you go in there, and then of course you have to find your desk with your name on it and your number. You are only allowed to have a pencil, pencil sharpener, eraser, and your test voucher on the table. Nothing else. Cell phones were supposed to be turned off. Okay, you could have a watch, but you're not allowed to have like a smartwatch like I have. I actually had to go buy this really cheap watch from a train station because I was told that they will like tape the clock for whatever reason, but that wasn't the case. It just looked off like they didn't have the clock taped. So yeah, 10-year-olds for nothing, but oh well. So at 3:15, I thought the test was gonna like start at 3:15, but the test didn't start until I think 1:30 or 1:35. I'm not sure. I don't remember anymore. But basically at 1:15, you were in your classroom. They passed out the test. You got 3 answer sheets. They're color coded, the answer sheets, because each answer sheet is for one test section. The test is broken up into 3 parts. The first part was vocabulary and kanji. The second part was grammar, and then the last part was listening comprehensions. So for each test, you had to like rip off a new test, a new answer sheet. But like I said, they're color coded and they have the names on it, like, you know, this answer sheet is for vocabulary, you know, so there's no really mixing it up. And plus, like, they tell you, like, before you start, they're like, okay, rip this one off, make sure that it's the answer sheet for this one, and then they'll like go by and then they'll look and make sure that you have the right sheet. So first part starts vocabulary and kanji. That was probably my strongest point. I don't want to sound very cocky or arrogant or anything like that, but I breezed through that pretty quickly. Because like when I was done, you know, I figured, okay, I'm gonna go back. Like as soon as I was done, like I looked up and I seen everybody's like still sitting down and writing, and I'm like, okay, so I go through my answers again, and I'm like, yeah, that's right, that's right, that's right, that's right. There's probably like maybe 2 or 3 questions where I was like, okay, I have to guess on this one, but other than that, like, easy. So break time comes. Of course, I run over to my friend, and yes, because I've seen this question a lot. People ask during the breaks, are you allowed to turn your phones back on? Are you allowed to take your backpacks out? Are you allowed to take your books back out? You know, stuff like that. So I'm gonna say yeah, because we were allowed to take like our entire backpacks with us. But at least that's what I did the first time, because for whatever reason I thought we're going outside. So I took my coat, I took my scarf, and I took my backpack. Like I took everything with me, and I went outside. But you have to make sure to take your ID and your test voucher back. Like you have to have with you and on you at all times. So I took my backpack and everything out with me for whatever reason. Like I said, because I'm stupid. And so I guess it would be okay for you to like flip through your books again during the break and whatnot, but I don't know. So anyways, okay, break time comes and I run to my friend and I'm like, yeah, how did you do? It was so easy, blah blah blah. So we're both on this like this high right now, like, oh my god, we're gonna make it, we're gonna do this, like this is so easy, easy peasy. And then so we go back into the room, and again the lady, she gives the rules again. Like each time she will tell you the rules. And your cell phone, don't put it on silent. Turn it off, like absolutely turn it off, because if it vibrates, you're disqualified from the test. So turn it off. Yeah, so we get the next part. The next part was grammar. Grammar, I want to say was 45 or 50 minutes. I don't remember. Let me take a look. Yes, grammar was 50 minutes. Oh wow, I actually have everything on here so I exactly know. Exactly, we started the test at 1:30 is when we started the test. Okay, So at 2:35 is when we start our grammar part, and that was 15 minutes. And then so I opened up the booklet, and that was like a punch in the face. Yeah, that really pulled me back down. Grammar was probably my worst part. Grammar is going to be my make it or break it, definitely. I know that for sure. I don't know what happened. I really don't know what happened there. I mean, yeah, whenever I study with my friends or I do homework and whatnot, yeah, grammar is just not my strongest point. I mean, I don't suck at it, but for whatever reason, I'm sitting there on that test and like, I knew nothing. I mean, it's not like I have to write anything, you know, it's just basically like, you know, reading and comprehending what you read and answering questions to it. But for whatever reason, my brain was like, not today. So yeah, yeah, I did not just breeze through that, and I used up the entire 50 minutes for that section, and I'm onegaishimasu. Yeah. So after that, break comes again, and I'm running to my friend, and we're both like, I can see it on her face and she can see it on my face. We're both like, yeah, that, no. So, yeah, we're like bumming out the whole time during the break, like, oh my God, what happened? So after the break, now it's the listening comprehension part. And then in my mind, I'm still like, oh my God, I have to pass this listening part. Like, you know, even though, like, I have to make my minimum of 19 or 18 points, I think, in the grammar category to pass. For whatever reason in my mind, I'm like, you have to absolutely pass this listening part. So, yeah. What was I trying to say? Oh yeah. Okay, so the listening part starts, and in a lot of videos I'd seen that they would say that, you know, they put the speaker in the front of the room, and then, you know, they press play, and then they only play it once, and if you didn't hear it, then, you know, tough titty said the kitty, kind of. And the whole time I'm like, oh my God, you know, because we're sitting in the back, like my number's in the back. I'm the last seat in the first row. And my friend, because like, you know, the numbers started from 1 and then it would go like this way. And then I think I was 15. So it's like 1 through 15 and then 16 and then like 17, like up to the front, like they were counting like this kind of. So we're both in the back. And I'm like, oh my God, like I hope they play it loud enough for me to hear something. I can't risk to lose this part. So we're freaking out. Well, we're freaking out mentally. And then the lady, she was like, okay, we're going to do a test run, you know, so you know if you can hear it, and if you can't hear it, please raise your hand, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, at least they're doing that. And then so she plays it, and then all of a sudden, the sound comes from above, and I look up, and then there's like speakers like basically over everybody's desk, and I'm like, oh, thank you. So yeah, at least I could hear it properly. But when it started, for whatever reason, I was so like so focused and so stuck on that grammar, like, oh my God, I can't believe I sucked so bad at grammar, that I missed the first question. Like, I missed it. And then I was like, oh my God, I missed the first question. So I'm like, fuck. Like, so I'm like, oh my God, I have to scribble something, like, because there's still like a 25% chance, you know, like, that I got the right, you know, the right one. And then I'm freaking out because I missed the first question, that I missed the second question. And I'm like, yeah. So again, I'm just like, okay, you know what? Screw it. Just scribble something in and shut up and stop panicking and listen. So I caught the third question, and then from there it was fine. I'm not gonna say that that was my best point. Sorry, somebody's at my window. Okay, so I'm not gonna say that was my best. That was my strongest point, but it wasn't difficult. You know, because I did a lot of practicing before, so that was okay. So yeah, now all I can do is wait until I think January, they said, like end of January, February, for like my online results. And yeah, fingers crossed. I'm hoping and praying that I pass. Yeah, but pass or fail, I am going for the N4 in latest December. I don't know if I'm going to be like ready by July. If I really did not pass the test, and it really was just like a little bit that was missing for me not to have passed, and why give out the money again? You know, I mean, I paid 60 euros to take the test. That's not, you know, I mean, yeah, of course, it's still 60 euros, but it's not the world, if you get what I'm saying. But it's just everything else that was involved, you know, like the train tickets, the hotel, you know, and then you got to eat something. So overall, it was an expensive weekend, but I've been saving for months to be able to do that. So that's why it was okay. But yeah, I'm going for the N4. I'm not going to do the N5 again. I'm going to study harder. Yeah, okay, so I think this video is long enough. I don't even know if I'll be able to upload it all to YouTube. So thank you guys for watching my ever first video. I'm sorry if the camera quality is not good. I'm using my phone. Yeah, so thank you guys for watching. If you guys are interested in stuff like this, I do plan on making a video of how I've been studying. I don't know if anybody would be interested in watching that, but I figured while I'm already at it, why not? Fingers crossed. Thanks for watching, and Janet.